Outline 6 method that may be adopted to clear external debt in developing countries. Outline 6 methods that may be adopted to clear external debt in developing countries. We raised and said that debt is a major policy issue, meaning that debt is a factor that needs to be considered. We said majorities of these countries that are in developing world rely mostly on debt. Why that? The reason is that because they're not able to fund their budgets using their own sources of revenue. And so they have to rely on debt that is basically from developed countries in order to fund their budget. So the examiner clear is asking us, how do we get to reduce? What are some of the methods that we get to clear external debt? Because these obligations actually affect the growth of a country. So we can put that on the board. Outline, that is C for C, outline 6 methods. Outline 6 methods that may be adopted, to clear external debts in developing, countries, something very important to understand about when you talk about debt management, those are basically touches on macroeconomics. And this is one of the areas, again, also, you're not so much limited into approaching these questions. It's not limited to what you find lecturers will give, but this is a very open way. If we look at our country, for example, Kenya as a case study, what are some of the ways that are very common in a country dealing with clearing external debt? One of the very common that we know as the citizens of a country is that, that the country uses, Kenya being a case study, is widening of the tax bracket. One is what we call it widening of the tax bracket, tax bracket. That essentially means that, i.e. increasing the taxes, i.e. increasing the taxes. That one of the ways that they deal with the external debt when it's too much, and how they manage it is increasing the taxes. We know that number 2 is what we call austerity measures, where government reduces. Also a major, Kenya being a case study, we know that a country is dealing with a lot of austerity measures, where a country is reducing expenditures. Number 2, reducing a country's expenditure, so that much of the money that is available can be used in order to pay the debt, And very important, number 3, we talk about debt conversion. And debt conversions, we basically say that you can convert short-term debts to long-term as a way of reducing. So we talk about number 3, what you call the data conversion, i.e. converting short-term loans to long-term loans, and vice versa, to long-term loan and vice versa. Converting short-term loans to long-term loan and vice versa. We know that when you talk about long-term loans basically take a longer time for them to be repaid, or for them to be cleared. A country may decide to dealing with this long-term loan and making them short-term so that they can clear them within the period. So we can also talk about what you call increasing government borrowing. Increasing the government borrowing. You can also increase the government borrowing in terms of internal. You can increase the government borrowing in terms of internal so that you can repay the external debt. Increasing the government borrowing, increasing the government borrowing from central bank to clear. We say to clear external debt. To clear external debt. But very important, one amazing thing that a country can do. A country can also decide to seek what you call debt forgiveness. Seeking debt forgiveness. The number of points that you could be asked where we say a country can refuse to pay debt as a way of doing away with the external debt. But the most precise and most clear way is seeking of what you call debt forgiveness. But you can also touch on what you call promoting investment so that they can have money to pay the debt. Say promoting investment so as to generate profits to pay up the debt, to pay up the external debt, so as to pay up the external debt, so as basically to pay up the external debt, that they can promote investment within the country so that they can pay up the external debt. So they can also decide to avoid rescheduling of the loan. But that basically touches, because you can have it, touches on conversion, avoiding rescheduling of the loans. We can have that as the last, avoiding. We can have it as avoiding rescheduling of the loans, so as to pay up in time. So as basically to pay up in time, that the country can decide to avoid rescheduling of these loans so that they are able to pay them up within the required time. That is how we basically approach that question on how do we reduce, what are some of the methods that basically we use to reduce the external debts.